Hi everybody. So I've got a look for you today at my Catan Nightbringer model. This guy is pretty old in my army. It's right from when I started my army, one of the first models for Necrons I ever painted. And I painted him just to look kind of similar to the original Catan Nightbringer scheme. And, I'm going to take a quick look at him over here. He's been in my army for a long, long time. I'll admit I didn't tend to use him very often before the new book came out just because he was so expensive. He was like 360 points back in the day. But I've been using them quite a lot in the new book. I think the Catans have gotten a lot more usable simply because they're a lot cheaper. You can actually field them in your army a lot easier these days. So let's go and take a look at this guy, get a little closer. Here you go. Let's look on kind of really basic job I did on his musculature there. You got a shot of his face here. Pretty basic. Oops. Pretty basic stuff right there. Looking at his muscles, his back, his cape. Still one of my favorite models in 40K. I just think it's full of so much evocative power, and it just looks just really badass and cool. Look how tall this guy is. I mean, he measures a good, 4.5, 5 inches tall compared to a normal model. Very impressive. Now on his base, he's just got the standard little scarabs that come with him, painted very basically to look like my other scarabs. Nothing too fancy down here. You'll notice that I've put him on a big metal washer. Just a big heavy metal washer, just to prevent him from falling over, One of the biggest problems I had when I first started using this guy was that he would just fall over and get chipped up, get beaten up, and it was a real pain in the butt. So I've got that heavy washer in there. It's basically almost exactly the width of the normal base. It's a tiny bit wider, so it does hurt me when I'm using things like Gaze of Death because I lose a little bit of surface area, but it's worth it just so this guy doesn't fall over. I've just kind of painted up his base like that. You'll notice that I've fixed his base up recently. Some of my early battle reports with this guy had him just the base and the washer below it was kind of separate, but he actually fell off my base after a game recently a few weeks ago, so I had to fix up his base. So simply I just redid it so that the whole thing is nicely made with flock and with rocks on the bottom there, so with sand. That's the way he looks. He's a real badass in combat. Really hard to take down. I mean, it's not unlikely for him to die. He tends to die, but he also, in my games, has tended to really pay for himself in terms of the carnage he causes on the board. The amount of stress he puts the opponent to simply trying to kill this guy. And sometimes he just ends up completely unstoppable. Really cool model, really badass model, and I really just love the way it looks. Even all these years later, I still love the way it looks. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and take care.